How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Killmark Collectors. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the patch notes that are out today for tomorrow's update. I'm going to be honest and just upfront with you guys. I am pretty disappointed right now, but I'll tell you why in just a second, so let's go ahead and dive into these things. Okay, so if you go into your settings, you can see the patch notes in the announcements tab. This is going to pop up. First thing off the bat, we're getting 1 million free skill points to reset. I think that's great. With some of these changes, I have a feeling that some people are going to want to tweak things. That being said, 1 million skill points isn't really that much. Don't get me wrong, it's a great gesture from NetEase, but yeah, it'll barely get you out of a small weapon system. So I appreciate it. It's great. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Moving down here, there's a lot of kind of good changes, things that they need to add to kind of set themselves up. Really, the first one that I get excited about, though, is this engineering rigs to Garissa's Inquisitors. This, along with down at the bottom, they mentioned hybrid weapon rigs, which I don't know what that means exactly because we don't have hybrid weapon rigs right now. At least I'm not aware of them if they're called by a different name. So I think that overall between that and the scout anomalies being given the command burst mods, you are going to see those be a good bit more profitable, which I'm all for, especially because I live in Garissa's space. So, who knows? Sorting options, this is great. I think it will definitely help people as they're trying to run stories. The logistics container for the dynamic values, or with dynamic values for their lead time. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but it is a nice change, I guess, so that you don't have just 24 hours for your PI, unless they reduce it down to like you have an hour because you're in the system next to it. I don't really know how that's going to work, but we'll see. There's a bunch of other changes in here around, corporate management and figuring out how to build capital ships and the blueprints. And again, we talked about a little bit the command bursts and those being added in. I think that's great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play with those on the test server. It was a lot of fun to get those going. So I'm excited to have those in the game. Now, down to the ship adjustments where, again, to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed here, and I'm trying not to be too negative. I'm trying to put a good spin on this, but it is kind of hard. They basically buffed all of the faction battleships. I don't really know why. Those ships were already really powerful. I don't know. Maybe it was just trying to keep up with the other base nerfs, kind of keep up with inflation. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. Keep going down. They did increase the health of all of the rats. I think that's fine. I don't really know why. I think this was probably more to keep up with kind of the inflation of them giving everybody else a buff in terms of damage. The big one that's interesting, though, is that they reduced the power grid required by all large remote armor reppers by roughly 20%, which means that, again, they are really focusing on making armor a viable fleet strategy. I think that's really great, along with the increase to the resistances. I think it's going to make, again, armor a viable strategy, which is awesome. That being said, it is basically what we saw in the test server. Moving down, we see basically all of the changes that we had on the test server without pretty much any changes. There are a couple here, like, for example, they're slightly reducing the capacitor capacity of the Dominics. Okay, cool. It's a drone ship. I don't really know why you need to slightly reduce it, or I don't think it's really being abused right now, but all right. They didn't apparently nerf the Dominics, at least in these patch notes. We'll see if they actually do a ninja nerf when the patch goes live. They did pretty much kill all interdictors, which is frustrating. The sniper destroyers and the assault destroyers, again, pretty much useless. They did give us this flight velocity increase and the additional buff of 5% basically for 4.5%. Again, yay. It's still not, it doesn't make destroyers good. They added a bunch of ships. Again, this is basically everything that we saw in the test server. They removed a bunch of ships. Again, what we saw in the test server. And then the Interceptors, the Type 2 Interceptors, again, they just made them so freaking powerful. I guess it's good because you're removing the ability to use a large shield booster or large repair armor booster, but they're just already so stinking good. I don't know why they needed to build on those. They tweaked some of the changes here with or tweaked some of the skills and bonuses that the battleships get. Again, pretty much what we saw on the test server, or I guess they're changing it based off of what they saw on the test server. At this point, we don't have these ships, so it's kind of pointless for me to really say too much about that. That being said, again, yay. I'm glad they're adjusting things in the game that we don't have yet, so whatever. We're seeing again the beam lasers and railguns are getting the 10% damage. I think that's great for Oracle players and anybody who likes to fly with large railguns. I think the Oracle and the Naga are just going to become even better when it comes to sniping. They adjusted the power grid consumption based off meta level, and they also down here in number 8 adjusted the power grid for shield boosters. I think those are needed changes. I think that's good. Again, though, kind of what we saw in the test server. And then other than that, they just added enhancements have been made to some Dead Space modules. We don't know what that means. Probably that they're getting a little more damage range, whatever. I don't think that it's going to be anything crazy. And so that's really it. I mean, again, I'm not trying to be overly negative here, but it is a little frustrating, especially because we were told that scanning is being delayed. They need extra QA time. I think a lot of us kind of took that to mean, hey, we're going to be addressing the feedback on the balance patch first. I know I told people that in Discord and stuff like that. I said, hey, this is a good thing that they're delaying scanning, that they're really taking time to review the feedback and make some changes based off of the balance updates. I'm not really seeing that, though, to be honest. And this is not a game breaker by any means. I don't want to sound like I'm, this is the doomsday, this is the death knell of Eve Echoes. But it is a little frustrating, just seeing some of these changes and feeling like they aren't actually listening to the players. I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit. I probably should be taking a little bit more time to look at this and digest and further analyze, I guess. But I know that they're working on other things. I know that the devs are doing a lot with scanning and some other things. But this in particular to me just felt a little tone deaf. And that's frustrating. But, it is what it is. I still am going to be playing this game. I still really enjoy this game. I don't think it's going to stop me from enjoying this game. But it is definitely going to change the way that I play. So we'll see what happens. Overall, like I said, I'm a little disappointed with some of the ship changes and the balance changes themselves. But I am very excited about the content that they're adding with some of these new rigs, new command burst modules, things like that. So I think it's going to be good in the long run. Again, I'm probably just a little negative Nancy this morning. So either way, I hope you guys found this helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, you know what to do down below. And until next time, fly safe.